This is Damon Stevens, FinWealth Builders. Today is Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021. And this is a stock market update for our trades for the day. And what a trading day it was. Boy, we had some great winners, but I had a big loser today. So let me get into it and show you what's going on in the marketplace and what we're looking at last night and what actually happened today. It was something else. Looking at the overall market, you can see here that the Dow Jones closed up 0.39%, NASDAQ up 0.34%, and S&P 500 0.37%. So very bullish on the market. Very good bullish day overall. FANG stocks overall did pretty good, except, Facebook pulled back and Tesla pulled back, and, we got a little bit out of them. But, it's pretty mixed green and red across the board, but overall positive for the whole market. And in fact, the S&P 500 hit another high today. Just blows my mind on these how strong this bull market is. Just continues to keep on going. So we'll just keep on trading it. Looking at the world heat map here, you can see it's kind of mixed. You see China had a really down day today. Red day. Bob actually pulled back a little bit over 4%. PTR did as well. So really a down day overall for China. Does that help? Does that affect us tomorrow? It's hard to say. Just remember 2 p.m. Eastern, should be hearing from Powell on how things are going with interest rates and with the economy. So, what do they announce? Nothing, and basically nothing happens in the market, or is it bad news, good news? We will see. But to some expect some volatility for a moment or two while after the announcement, while the market tries to digest whatever is said or what was implied. So just watch for that. And so, I'm expecting tomorrow to be overall flat until that announcement comes out. So just be careful if you're trading and make sure that we find out if there's anything that's going to be surprising. I doubt it. There'll be anything that's be overwhelming, but who knows what could come out. So just be careful out there tomorrow. Look at the market. Car, boy, it hit my scanner. I tried to scalp into this, and it had $20 swings. So I got out. So I made a couple of bucks, but less than $100 on it, in and out, and then I just stayed out. So I know some people just killed it on this. They just risked it and took it. Some people may have already been in it. But I got into it late, and I wasn't willing to chase it when I saw $20 swings between the bid and ask. I was like, no way. So if you did take it and you're profitable, congratulations. It did hit the scanner. We had a huge move. My goodness. Let's take a look at the chart. Let me just pull the chart up here. So car. So 170 was a low, and 545.11 was a high. Oh my gosh, this is just crazy stock. I tried to get into it, and I was going to write it. I know some other traders went on it. I just, I wasn't willing to risk it because I didn't know when the bottom was going to possibly fall out. And so if you caught it, great. For me, I don't like to have that big of a swing between my bid and ask. So that's just my personal trading style. But wow, what a swing. So cleared up to 545, settled back down. We closed out around 357. So does it stay there? I don't know. Avis going that high just blows my mind. Obviously, there's shorts that I'm sure got stuck in there. So I feel bad for those guys, but it's a crazy ride. So if you got some of this, congratulations. If you lost some money, just risk management. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but just be careful on what you're risking and kind of understand what your tolerance is, and what trades you're willing to get into, and some you won't. Just like there's some companies I just don't trade because every time I've traded them, I've gone the opposite direction of where I thought it was going to go. So I just stay away from them because every time I'm playing, I feel like I'm playing against the computer, and the computer's always winning. So just some thoughts there. But let's go back to this map here. So also OLB did, so did trade that one. And then there's a few others here, that were in that 30% range. So really good, healthy market, with small caps. And then, this one large cap car. You know, I think it'll settle down. My guess is, you know, if it consolidates down a little bit more, probably around, you know, it could come down to, you know, between 300, 200, maybe somewhere around that area, but at some point. But staying up there where it's at, I don't know. I could be wrong, but it just seems like it was just possibly a one-day hit, and that's it, and we're done. So you have to watch out, because we've been seeing that with the small caps. You know, you get one day out of them and you're done. So you just have to be careful with some of these that go parabolic, because it's not going to be like GameStop or, you know, possibly GameStop or AMC or something like that that goes up and stays up for, you know, possibly weeks, you know, grinding up, and then before finally coming back down. So just saying, be careful out there. I was tempted to get in because I just saw what it was doing, but I had to put my risk management hat on and just say stay away. So, but I didn't stay away from Chegg. We talked about this in last night's video. Said earnings were out on this one, and so, you know, and I know I haven't hit earnings yet, but this was on our earnings list, and I did talk about this in the video. So I'm just going to cover this right up front. So yeah, I talked about this support level. Said, hey, you know, we're probably going to gap down for the night, which we did overnight, and then I said, you know, I'm looking for this area around this area right here, and I had this line here on the video last night of around 4150. I said I think it will be support for us. So I'm looking for support there to take a trade, you know, scalp a trade, and take it around that area. So I had my orders in, and it came down in the morning, and it just came down fast, and it blew right through 4151 and kept on going down. And then here's my trend line down here. So this is at, you know, around 35.65. So it went down, and you know, I had my manuals, I was manually stopping. So I watched it, and it kept going down, and I was like, where is the bounce? I mean, it's getting past where we had really good support, and there's no support here. And so as soon as it hit this trend line, I got out. Now, you know, should I have stayed in? Well, it went past my trend line, clear down to 32.12 is where it sits tonight. And it never bounced. It just kept going down and down and down. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, this is like out of 80, 20, 80% of the time, it's going to bounce off of one of these levels, either where you had a lot of resistance and now those are support areas, or it's going to bounce off that our trade lines here as far as our boundaries. And it did not, it didn't look at any of them. It was like they weren't even there. So that's where, you know, you got to make sure you know where you're going to put your stop in. I thought about holding on. I was so tempted to hold on because I thought, man, it's just going to probably pass me up a little bit and then bounce. It didn't. So I didn't lose as much money as I could have, but I did take a hit on this one. And this is one of those unusual ones that hit me, and it was ugly. So I spent the rest of the day, you know, trying to make up for that. And I turned out red for the day, which, you know, you're going to have those days. I mean, I've had many of those days. But, you know, overall, you want to be positive. And also, you know, if this came down again and was coming down these levels again, I would do the exact same thing. I would be trying to buy it off of support. And if it failed, then my stop loss would be right here at my line here, and I do it again, because 80% of the time this should have bounced. It just did not today. It just kept grinding down. Now, where does it go from here? I have no idea. I mean, I was looking back here to say, okay, where's the next level? Maybe down, you know, I don't know. I don't really have a good support level. Maybe 25.89. We're gonna line down here, maybe down to this Fibonacci level down here around 20. I don't know. I think 26 might be the best, but, you know, I've been wrong so far. It just blew through all the moving averages, blew through the support line where the last breakout happened. It just defied all the rules. So I don't know where it's going. Probably going to stay away from it. I'll watch it in case, you know, all of a sudden it starts to rally back. You know, it could be that, you know, they just really kind of try to squeeze everybody out today, and all of a sudden it starts to rally up. It's possible. But this one, if it doesn't do that, if it continues to just kind of chew people up here and spit them out, you know, Chegg might be on one of my lists of stocks I don't trade, because it's not following, you know, this, you know, typical rules of the market. And when it doesn't do that, those stocks kind of go on my don't touch list. So just want to share that with you. That was an ugly one today. I tried to make it up a car. I could, obviously if I knew where it was going, I could, obviously this was a killer for some people. People really made good money on this one. So that could just made up easily for anything I lost today, but I couldn't do it. And so here's the other ones that we had. So ANIP was a multi-day trade here. You can see here that, that it basically gave us a nice V shape here. I didn't catch all this, and it was a big move. But, that was more of a scalp. OLB, we had a nice gap up here to 1280 from 455. I was looking, as it got up here, I was looking for it to pull back and possibly give me a run towards the end of the day. It didn't, just kind of went flat. So, I got a couple $100 out of this. I didn't get enough, much out of this. And so, is it dead? Well, I don't know. If it stays off the 50, bounces off here, we'll see if it gives us something tomorrow, but really not a good trading day for me overall. Just seemed like things I got into kind of petered out. So VRare, so this is a multi-day trade as well. You can see that it did give us a pop in the morning, from about 1290 up to 1542, kind of a bounce up here. We talked about this in last night's video too, that we had this 1660, and we're looking at trying to get something above that. And we did get that. We got a spike up to 1770. So we did beat that, and then it popped back down here, kind of settled, broke below the 20, and then settled out, right under the 20. I don't like that it's down below the 20 here. You can see that it stayed above that over here. So this could be a sign of weakness, and this could drop off and maybe be done. But at least we got a couple of days out of it. So, hopefully you got some profits on that as well. That was a lot of these are off the scanner. So BITO, I'm keeping this on the list for a while, just to kind of show you. So this is the ETF for Bitcoin. So if you don't want to spend $63,000 on a Bitcoin purchase, you can actually use BITO and trade the index. And you can see the index is, we're 40 here, a nice little pull down, a run up to the trade to this upper trend line here. So 40.72. Bounce back down to our trend line, and then back up to our trend line, 41 to 42, and then we're kind of bouncing down. It looks like it might hopefully just kind of arch back up here and go, so close to this 41.80 at least, maybe 42. So you can see here that, so far it's staying on my trend line right here in this little V shape, back and forth. Here, you're seeing some strength because here it kind of bounced full length. Now it's kind of settled in, so we might be getting more of a bullish run here. So I do like that. So BITO remains on a long-term list here as far as an alternative for my Bitcoin, because I do like this. Go back to Bitcoin chart. You see here, Bitcoin kind of was under our trend line, broke up through it, touched it again at 64,300, came back down, touched our trend line, and now it's kind of on the lower part of our trend line, where the BITO is on the upper part. So a little bit difference, but the charts have some similar view it looks on them, especially depending on what time frame you're looking at, the two charts. I did want to kind of continue to talk about this one for a while, and then I'll take it off just to kind of show you that there's alternatives out there, and how it's trending. So earnings, we continue to watch earnings. So you can see here today, Activision, we had Zillow Group, T-Mobile, Big Five, Amgen. So I'm looking for these in the morning to see what they did for the overnight. So so we can see if we get some action on some of these here. Also before the open, we have CVS, Norwegian, Camp World, and Marriott. I'll be watching as well. So kind of a big list here for me in the morning. This is my area of focus. So, and that's plenty. So we're watching these. We're watching the ones that we've already been trading. And then after close tomorrow, we have Roku, Qualcomm, Skills. These are the ones I'm really watching. Fastly, Etsy. Those are the ones I'm really paying attention to see what they do, and see if there's opportunities there. So exciting time. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are my biggest areas of focus. And then Friday, just DraftKings. Microsoft continues to kind of climb up here. So this has been on on our list. This is more of a long-term, portfolio thing. Is if you got in here. If not, then these highs you may just want to start day trading or possibly swing it. If this will continue to climb up here, hopefully to the new highs here. Looking forward to get here above 35, then possibly get up to 37. So just watch this one. We're all at all-time highs, but Microsoft continues to perform. So that's exciting. Apple, we had a little bit of a pullback here down to the 50. Try to run back up here. It got to 152, pull back again. So we're right above all the moving averages right now. So I like that it's right here. It's right on 150. And as long as it can stay above 150, we can continue to run back up here towards resistance. So I like it here, but we're right on that 150 mark. And that is kind of the turning point of either going down or climbing higher. So just be careful with that one if you're in Apple. TDOC, we had a pullback here. So you can see we had a top here, 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 and here. So quadruple tops and then a pullback. So we did pull back to the 200 on this time frame, and we were also able to bounce off that. So I like that. I like that it's curling back up. So we'll be coming back up here to 152 as we have before, and then we'll try to see if we can break out. If we don't, we could have possibly a larger pullback here, but hopefully 5 times the charm. So that's what we're working on TDOC. And now kind of failed to break through, pull back, try to break through, but hit resistance right on our upper trend line here and found resistance there and pulled back again. So it stayed above the moving averages, but it's got to break through the 692.46 again and try to get back up here again to break through our trend line into new highs. But you can see that it's holding here. It's held here, it's held here. So that means our trend, this is good validation on our trend line, that our trend line's holding true. Line, we hit a new high. We had a high at 678. We pulled back here, and then we're kind of consolidating here. So we kind of pull back to the 50, back down to the bottom of this trend line. Hard to say, but you can see here that we hit the top of it here. We hit the bottom here. We didn't quite make it to the top of it again, and then we pulled back down. So, here's our support line. It's right on that support line, which used to be our resistance line from here and back here from the old high. So that's where that line comes from. So you can kind of see, because you might ask sometimes, why do you have all these lines on your chart? And I know sometimes it might get a little overwhelming because I know what they are because I use them every day, but you may not. So hopefully it's not too busy, and it's helping to explain my thought process and my method, and actually why I use charts and how charts are helpful for me. When I see that they hit the points on my charts where I've mapped them out, it helps me trade better. And also it validates for me that when I'm analyzing a stock and its movements, that I'm either right on track or I'm totally off. Like on Chegg, I was off. I was totally off. It blew through my chart. So, that's the thing that, you need to validate. So hopefully you're finding this helpful. Hopefully this is a little bit educational as well. But this is kind of how I do it. So Tesla, you can see here, came up and hit that new high and then bounced down, and then we're kind of consolidating. And so I kind of made this little wedge here because it kind of consolidated on a wedge, and it's really tight. So if you're doing options right now, just be careful. Because this could just kind of keep going straight and be flat for a while. Or it could possibly use this as time to build energy and break up the upside or break down the downside and possibly fill a gap down here. I don't think it's going to come down here because right now there's a lot of strength in Tesla, unless there's bad news or something major came out. Probably not going to fill these gaps down here anytime soon. So just be aware of that. But yeah, looking for a breakout here, or this might consolidate. So just be careful if you're doing options on Tesla, because you could get them, they may expire worthless if we do just consolidate. So just be careful out there. Nvidia continues to hit all-time highs. You see kind of barely broke through our trend line. It did it down here as well, but pulled back. Came to the bottom of the trend line, the bottom again, back up to the top, down to the bottom, back up to the top. So is it going to come back down and somewhere down here to 230 maybe, and then bounce off again? after filling this gap, or is it just going to blow through my line and create a whole new trend line? It's hard to say. There should be some resistance up here though. Looking to see if it does. It could possibly just pull back a little bit and then run back up again. But 270 is our goal. It doesn't mean it'll do it this week or next week, but 270 is kind of where the high level goal was to try to get to. So we'll see what Nvidia does, but just know here that we're sitting right at the top of that trend line. So we could have a little bit of a pullback. Avgl Broadcom. So you can see here that it kind of bounced off this trend line and the 100 several times. And now we're rallying back up. We're at 537 and broke through this resistance and it held. So now we're looking at 550 for our next run up for resistance. So we'll see if that can make the next run up there. If it pulls back here, it could consolidate here. You notice it consolidated for a week before finally being able to break out. So we'll see what AVGO, let's see if it can continue to give us a run. Moderna, I was getting ready to take this off. Told you, if this can't do anything, we're going to take it off, but it's trying to run. It's, under this, 50, but it's above the 20. So, can we get this run up here and close this gap? Still watching it. I'll leave it on here. If it broke down here and it broke below this 100, it would be off. But you see here, it did pull down. It's trying to rally back up. So just going to watch a couple more days, at least this week, maybe, see if it can do something for us. So the bond market right now is kind of flat. So I'm not going to talk much about that. So that's good for the stock market. The dollar kind of sitting in this channel as well. The VIX, after getting up there just on that 20 and our resistance line has pulled back down. So that's great. As this is coming down below 16, we should be able to continue to rally to new highs again. So the market will continue to be high as long as the VIX is down here. So, could this spike? It could any time frame, as you can see it did here, in the past. But right now, this is really good for us making new highs across the board, and we are. So the SPY high 462.22. It's pulled back here to the 20. What happens tomorrow with the Feds? Is it going to pull back here and retrace down through our Fibonacci? Or is it going to bounce back up and break through that 462 and run for new highs? Hard to say. We could just run flat here too. So we'll see what comes out tomorrow. See what that does for us. But right now, our trend line, is holding true. You can see the bounces here off of it. We did fall below here. So I really should have left my line back on here. So we've fallen back below it a couple times, but right now it's been holding. So, and we're right kind of in the middle, smack in the middle. So we'll see what it can do. But SPY's looking nice and bullish. Triple Q's nice and bullish. I'm looking up for this ever continuation up here to 395, 396 area up to the top of this trend line. As you see, that it did it back here in September, and it hit the bottom of the trend line here in October, 1st of October. So looking nice and bullish right now. Semiconductors is almost to the top of our trend line too. So you can see we hit it here, you hit it here, and we're almost right there again. So question is each of these, as they've hit the top, they've bounced down. So caution in the way, caution on this, because all the indexes are all hitting the top of the trend line. As they do that, and they're almost doing it all at once, do they all pull back all at once and they all come down and retrace part of that movement? Hard to say, but right now we're seeing everything come all to the top all at once. So that's very bullish, and we're just going to possibly just have some blow off tops or just some crazy market moves. Or we're just going to have a natural movement where these do top out and they all come down all at the same time. And then it's a good time to buy on the dip. So not sure what's going to happen, but it's an interesting development right now in the market overall. IWM. So you can see here, I expand out the chart a little bit. So you can see back here, where we hit the top here, we hit it here, and we blew through it right here. And so we're up here in new highs. We're kind of flat right now. This 235 range, we continue up to 236, 230, 37. Hard to say, or do we pull back? IWM is, setting a pace for a blow off top, or just a crazy, parabolic move, which is just absolutely nuts. See, here's our trend line. We're talking about blowing through it. We blew through it, right? You see that before it touched it, kind of came through it a little bit, came back down, came back up through it, came back down, came back up to it, came back down. But now this just went boom, parabolic through. So I don't know where this is going to go, or if this is going to start pulling back. And maybe it's waiting for the other indexes to at least hit the top of theirs. But crazy moves. So hopefully you lock in those profits. I don't know if I'd short the market yet until you have a sign that actually is turning. But boy, I don't know. Everything's kind of coming together. Financials sitting here right at the top, kind of consolidating here at this high here, but it's in the middle. So you see our trend lines down here. It rode the top of that trend line for a while, and then came back down, and it touched the bottom of it, and we're sitting in the middle for the financials. So does financial kind of do its own thing, where the rest of the indexes are all hitting their peak? It's hard to say, but just interesting movements there in the market. Gold, you can see here, our trend line that it hit the top here, and now it kind of broke through it, consolidated. So a lot of times you see it kind of break through, it'll check in, and that gives it the bounce to run up and pull out. So we're looking to see if that will do that. I don't like it here though, but it stayed below the 200 again. Gold just cannot stay above it. So this makes me think that it's not going to make it, and it may pull back into this descending wedge that we have here and bounce around and fall through, or maybe try to make another run again, but it's losing momentum again. Staying under the 200, it just cannot get above that thing. Silver, same thing. You see here, hit the bottom of our trend line, came up, tried to rally through, and it's back below again the 200. So it continues to pull back below all the moving averages. So silver, remains weak. Bitcoin we talked about. So we're consolidating right now. This channel we have been for a few weeks. So I'm looking forward to break out at 67,000 if I'm going to get back into this full. Right now I barely have I just have a small piece right now. And BITO is the one I'm looking at as far as trading. Also watch it though, because if it does pull back on Bitcoin, BITO will probably pull back as well. So something to keep an eye on, and we'll just kind of monitor it. Ethereum, broke out of here, broke through our resistance line, came back up to the top of our trend line here, and found resistance around this 45.62 is kind of where it's sitting right now. Can it blow through, and can we get up to 4,800 or maybe even 5,000? I think it's possible, especially with this momentum. But also I'm looking at the trend line here, and you see here, in the past we blew through it to make new highs, but then we pulled back through. We hit resistance here on the trend line and pull back to the bottom of it, and then now we're back at the top of it again. So can it hold, or does it kind of consolidate for a week and then drop? It's going to be hard to say, but just watch this thing. We're just watching to see, can we hold this line right now where we're at and move through, or just kind of right along the top of this trend line, or are we going to break down? So just watching Ethereum real carefully here right now, trying to see what it's going to do. Shiba, just flat. It's been flat for over a week now, kind of pulling back here. It's below the 5 now, head down to the 10. So we could get some, retracement here on Shiba. That could happen if we were to do that. Where we pull down to somewhere in, maybe we do pull down to, close to 6,000. So maybe we pull down to here. That would be, well, if we just do the base of these wicks here, right here and here, that would put us around 62. So if we come down here and bounce off this and run, I'll definitely be in if it can come off this 10 and bounce off. If not, we can come down to the bottom of this, which is down here. We have this line to here at the bottom of this big old breakup candle. So it's also come down to this 47.73. Again, if it came down there, I'd definitely be wanting to look for a long and see if this can pull up and run again. So just watching Shiba. I sold out up here, not at the very top, but up here. And so I figure if it gets above my price, I can get back in again, and no harm, no foul. If it doesn't, at least I've locked my profits in, and I'm just waiting for opportunity and the right opportunity. So, and I'm not shorting it, just so you're aware. But that's the market today. I know I covered a lot. I mean, I know it's a long video, but just wanted to give you a little bit of training, let you know kind of what happened in the marketplace, what's going on right now, and what we're looking at. So we have a full plate for tomorrow. A lot of activity, a lot of action with the earnings. It just keeps us busy, as well as the small caps are just killing it. So great opportunities. Just be careful out there. Don't overtrade. Lock in your profits along the way. Usually the best time to trade is the first hour of the morning and the last hour of the day, if you're wanting to have nice volume and not have to play like you're playing against the computers, which just chops you out. So just be careful out there, and we will talk tomorrow night about what's happening.